Hi, I'm Tasha and this is my kitchen. This week I'm going to show you how to make an amazing chicken soup from scratch. We're going to make our own broth. Now this chicken soup is not like your regular chicken soup. It has a lot of Latin flavors that just really bring comfort and elevate it to the next level from maybe some of the chicken soups that you're used to. So stay tuned, stay with me as I show you how to make this. Now, this chicken soup is great whether if you have a hangover, you've been drinking too much, quarantine days, if it's cold outside, rainy day, just want to feel comfortable, this is the soup for you. So the good thing is that we're actually going to be making our own broth. You're not going to use the stuff that's pre-packaged in the supermarket in a container. We're going to make our own fresh broth, and that's all going to start with an entire chicken. Well, not really an entire chicken because we will be removing the breast of it, but we will use the rest of it. So we're gonna start off with an entire chicken. We're gonna sear our chicken. We're gonna sear some of our vegetables. We also have half an onion. We have culantro, which I really feel that the broth is really brought out or elevated to a different flavor profile with this specific ingredient here, the culantro. Now, if you don't know what culantro is, or culantro, you hear that? If you don't know what culantro is, it is the sister version of cilantro. Cilantro is what you see over here. This is cilantro. This is cilantro. And then as you can see here, this culantro, very different. It's a much broader leaf and it's flat in comparison to the leaves that are much smaller and are slightly curly. We also have a couple other ingredients that I feel that elevate this soup to the next level. That is allspice. And then to give our broth color as well as a little bit of flavor, I'm going to incorporate achote. It's more for the red coloring. And then we also have black pepper and turmeric for a bit more of that color. Other things that we're going to be utilizing: potatoes, and this is known as a yuca. It's a root vegetable, I guess you would call it. This one is a pumpkin. This we're going to use to thicken up the broth, and it's also going to give a bit of flavor and color to that broth as well. And then we also have some of the other ingredients that you may be used to seeing in a chicken soup. That is carrots, potatoes, the pumpkin, as I mentioned, and corn. The other ingredients that we have here: salt, garlic, and dried parsley. So let's get started. Oh, I forgot to mention, we also have, what is this? Pasta. We have pasta. I don't know why I forget what I'm trying to say most of the time. But we also have pasta. This is dried pasta, dried spaghetti that we're going to be utilizing, and we're going to incorporate that towards the end of making the soup. So the first thing that we're going to start off with is the chicken. Now the chicken, what I want you to do is I want you to wash it. It's very important that you wash the chicken. Now you want to wash the chicken so that you can remove any impurities that it may have. Now this is important because as we're starting to develop our broth, you're going to see that a lot of the impurities will start to rise towards the top. And so if we can eliminate a lot of that in the washing process instead of the cooking process, it'll be a lot easier. Not to say that you won't have any impurities in the cooking process, but at least it won't be as much. You know it's about to get down when you see me put my hair up. All right, we're gonna get dirty. What do I mean? We're gonna cut this chicken. We're going to remove the breast. We're going to start off. Now, the chicken itself has a sternum, a hard piece in the center. And the way to cut the breast off of it is you want to go around that main portion. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I am a professional chef and that I know how to cut properly like those chefs do on TV, because I don't. But I know how to get around in the kitchen. So the way to do this, you want to make sure that you have a sharp knife, which I do here, and just want to go down and get rid of as much of the breast meat as possible. If you can't get rid of it all, that's fine. And it doesn't have to be perfect, this part here. Like I said, the reason why you want to get rid of the breast meat, or why at least I'm not using the breast meat in this portion of the stock, is because breast meat tends to dry out a bit or quickly. compared to like dark meat, like the thighs and the wing and the leg. So I prefer just to use those pieces over the breast meat, but I do want to use that bone. So that is why we're removing the breast meat from this. If you don't want to go through all this trouble, maybe you don't have time, or it's like, girl, who has time to cut the chicken like this? I'm not gonna lie, when I make soup, I do it because I know I'm gonna have a lot of time to execute the soup. If you ever made soup before, you'll realize that soup takes a while. A good soup takes a couple hours to cook properly. You don't expect to make a soup in an hour because it's not gonna work. So now that we have our chicken breast removed, we're gonna set it aside. Like I said, you can either use this in the soup later on towards the end of the cooking process, or you can not serve it, but you can save the breast and use it for something else, maybe for another dish. All right, so here's my chicken. Let's get started to the next phase. Been about 30 minutes since the chicken has been cooking. Ideally, you want to cook the chicken until tender. Once it's to that consistency, you can remove it out of the soup base. So we want to look at our broth. If you see that it's too oily or it has like some of the skim stuff within it, you can remove it. Just skim it off the top. This one's not too bad because I did a good job of cleaning the chicken prior to using it. So this is why I say it's important to clean the chicken beforehand. Other thing you want to remove are these big onion pieces. Now you can leave it in the if you choose to. That's up to you. It's a personal choice, or you can remove them out. The same thing with the garlic chunks. If you have big garlic chunks left and the culantro, as seen here, then you want to remove it. We want those things to give flavor, but we don't want to eat it. That's not what you want in there, so it's good to take all that out. Next thing is seasoning. So we're gonna add the turmeric, the achote, and the rest of the pepper. And at this state, you can add the potatoes, the pumpkin. We're also gonna add the other 3 leaves of the culantro to finish off the flavor. And lastly, our yuca. Be careful as you do that. And just give it a stir. See that beautiful color coming together? So now this is just the vegetables that were added, and we're gonna let that cook a little bit longer until done. Also, don't forget, if you need, add more water. And now the next step is to take that chicken and break it apart. You want to do this after it's cold. Don't do it while it's hot so you don't burn your hands. And you can see how tender it is. The bones are just coming off. We're going to get as much of the meat as possible because that's what we're going to use to top our soup.